Hello and welcome to the Clashing of Steel. So today I will be talking about the open beta. We do know that it starts on the 22nd of February, and around a week ago started the first hints for it. You could see it on the Twitter, there were some comments and so. Perhaps not directly towards the open beta, but for the new faction, the Carthage. You could have seen the elephant being featured on the shield, or on the breastplate or something like that. Or perhaps seen comments towards Carthage, or perhaps even players guessing for Persia. We also got the first glimpses of war elephants 2 days ago, when it was released in articles saying that the next faction will be Carthage. We also got a teaser trailer for Hannibal, the Scourge of Rome, and well, that was a pretty big sign. So if you haven't checked out Total War Arena's Twitch channel, yesterday on the 8th of February we got some gameplay footage of the Hannibal and the war elephants. I'm going to show a few glimpses of it, how strong the elephants are, how much health they have, how big they are, and how brutal they can be. I will also do some speculation based on what I will show you, and the news are not great, at least from what I have seen. So you can see the same match being played here that is uploaded in Twitch, and you see the war elephants, they're moving in quite heavily. Those back there should be, I think, Germanicus's legionnaires. The first charge did practically nothing to the elephants. That isn't the biggest problem. In a second you're going to see how elephants use the stomp. They did huge amount of damage and it only went on 22 seconds cooldown. After the stomp, elephant can do even more damage by walking over the knockdown soldiers, weakening them even further. And as you see here, the elephants have huge amount of HP. Although only one elephant fills one of your unit spots, it is still massively strong for what it is. Okay, I can understand it being a massive counter to the sword shield and spear infantries, but they do have few weaknesses. One is the heavy and light artillery. Also the javelins and any form of ranged damage will actually do, but anything bigger than arrows and slingshots is considered the best. Here you can see light artillery and heavy artillery going at the elephants. The damage the elephants take from heavy and light artillery is really strong. Also the heavy artillery staggers the elephants. Any form of ranged damage should slow the elephants down. Definitely the javelins, light and heavy artilleries. Not so sure about the slingers or archers, but firing at them with ranged weapons is quite viable. So the elephants, you can see they're moving ahead. They got hit by the rocks and the rocks did quite decent amount of damage. Also the light artillery is slowing and weakening the elephants enough for the heavy artillery to hit them and for the sword infantry back there to start deploying their stakes and actually make it in time. So as it turns out, stakes are a really great tool against elephants. If the caltrops work against the elephants as well, I'm guessing those can be used to slow them down, for javelins, archers, catapults to take them down. So the only reasonable melee counter are the pikemen. You can see the war elephants again, they're still quite strong actually. Their health pool is just huge, and they're going against the pikes. So the first elephant has around 1/3 of its full HP left. As you can see, it walked right into the pikes, and the pikes pretty much destroyed him, but then again it reached to the pikes. It could have probably destroyed them if it would have been at full health. The developers said that the Germanicus will still do huge amounts of damage towards the elephant if they use Vengeance, but what I saw in the Twitch, it just blew my mind. The elephants, they took nearly no moral damage, they took no reasonable physical damage, and they could stomp and move over everybody, doing huge amounts of damage. And using stomp one by one, you can create practically an endless loop. The elephants are said to take more damage from the rear, but I am still afraid they're going to be a recharge weapon. Meaning that sending them in head on blindlessly can actually pay out. But still, it was nice to see that the pikes, javelins and artilleries worked against the elephants. Probably the main problem I'm seeing with the elephants is that there are gonna be certain amount of players who are gonna play them a lot. So the matches may often end up being like 5 war elephants versus 5 war elephants. That is what I don't like. Those are like the bad odds. There should be maximum of 2 players on each team that can have war elephants. Kinda similar thing is in the world of warships. You can only have 2 carrier-based ships in your team. Same thing should probably be done here. Meaning that you just won't have the massive fights where infantry is outnumbered and will get stomped by huge amounts of elephants. So, okay, enough about the negatives. So, we actually have 2 new commanders coming. Hannibal and his brother Asdrubal. They promised to go a bit deeper with Asdrubal during next week, so this week I will be talking about the Hannibal. Note that all of these skills are upgraded to the maximum. So the first skill Hannibal has is the Forced March. It's a toggleable ability that gives you more movement speed, acceleration and turn speed on behalf of your view range, morale and defense. It can't be used in phalanx, but it works with war elephants and infantry. For the second skill, Hannibal has Determination. It's a small buff that affects the unit you have activated it on. It reduces the negative ground effects, gives you melee defense, melee attack, missile block chance, missile weapon damage and charge deflect. So it's a small boost to help you fight off your opponents. And for tier 5 skill, Hannibal has Ad Portas. It's a 200 seconds lasting buff. It works with elephants and sword infantry. It has 2 phases. It has a 200 second cooldown and 200 second duration. First phase is 60 seconds, it reduces the movement speed by 10%, and it gives you melee weapon damage, melee defense and missile block chance. Second phase of it lasts for 140 seconds, it increases your melee weapon damage by another 100%, and other buffs will stay the same, or debuffs. It also will silence you for the duration of it. It can be deactivated if you can keep your opponents out of melee for 4 seconds. Meaning that it works kinda similar to Vengeance. You need to keep them out of combat for it to deactivate. It also doesn't give you all the buffs it has instantly. It just means it will build it up during the time period it is active. So the phase 1 buff, it will build up for a 60th second, at least. It means that the opponents can't use it to burst you down real fast. They need to build it up. They need to be engaged, they need to use it the best they can. I'm also going to show the Carthage death tree. So it starts off with spear infantry. From tier 3 you can move on to spears or sword infantry. From tier 4 spears you can move on to tier 5 cavalry. It is very light shock cavalry. From tier 5 you can move on to tier 6 with war elephants. Either from the sword infantry or the spears. From tier 8 you can move from either cavalry or spear infantry to the javelins. They do have 3 premium units, which is spears, cavalry and infantry. I think at some point they might add also premium war elephants, but we'll see. The spear infantry is lighter than the grease spears, and the sword infantry is a bit different from Romans at occasions. Meaning that there are some tiers when the infantry might be really heavy, and there are some tiers that infantry might be really light. About the javelins, I'm not so sure, but the whole cavalry should be extremely light shock cavalry, and the elephants, well, they're gonna be nasty as hell. All of the Carthage's units are somewhat a combination of different factions units. It's mixed up with different mercenaries, different barbarians, and so. You can already read it from the names. Some may be from Numidian, some may just say mercenary cavalry or something like that. It's probably because Carthage didn't have a wide variety of units. It did have war elephants and some other spears and so, but a lot of their soldiers were often mercenaries. A mercenary faction of sorts. I'm personally afraid that elephants are gonna be too strong and they're gonna be too much of a foolproof weapon. Meaning that everybody who knows how to attack will practically be successful with them. So this is it about the new faction that comes with open beta, the Carthage. If you want to see more, I suggest going to Twitch and checking out the Total War Arena. They made a live stream yesterday, that was the 8th of February. I'll leave it in the description as well. But anyways, don't forget to subscribe and thanks for watching.